You know, historically they were always very fiery. You know, it was that whole little brother, big brother type concept, and was always massive. And so I think the players are looking forward to experiencing that, and it's something that, like I said, they haven't done before. It's and to go back and, you know, put their franchise to one side and go back and represent the province that they first played for, I think it is exciting them. And so when we get it together, you know, to get that north-south rivalry, we want to make sure that we tell some stories that week about what it was like and what they are to expect. Yeah, that's a very, very good question. And, you know, clearly I tick the North Island model, and, you know, it's very hard to not support the North from a purely from a rugby fan perspective. But look, as a neutral, I'm quite excited because obviously got a pretty key role to play in terms of selection, but then sort of to step back and let the players get to know the rest of my coaching group with Plum and Brad and Scott and Fiki looking after the teams. I'm excited about a chance to get to know some new players and watching from the sidelines a little bit. If we did give players a choice, you know, the problem is we could have about 4 or 5 players that could go down from the North Island to the South Island, but there could be about 20 players that could choose to go from the south to the north. And you know, we would end up having players talk to players and trying to sort out, well, if you go there, I'll go here, and all that sort of stuff. Or we'd get hounded by player agents saying, well, what's the best place for a player to go to? And I think it would just put, I guess, the All Black selectors in a position that they'd be totally manipulating selection. Whereas this way, it's, you know, going on the first province, we think it's simple, it's easy to understand. It's the closest. It's got some strong ties to how we've always done it, you know, decades ago, and it rewards the province where the players actually chose to begin their first class career, and awards those that put a bit of effort into them. So, look, there's logic for every different idea, but this one we think is the cleanest and easiest and most efficient for this game. You know, first and foremost, they all want to get picked for it, and you know, there's no gimmies here. They've still got to go and get selected for the teams. And in a year that, you know, clearly there's a lot of uncertainty about the international game, and you know, we've obviously got a lot of strong plans in place for later in the year. But this is a chance to do something a little bit different on the New Zealand stage. We know it'll have pretty high viewership around the world, and again, to play in a game that a lot of these players have, like even our top All Blacks, have actually sort of talked about a north-south for years, but they've known they've never had a chance to do it, whereas now they have. And they've got to try and create their own, you know, reinvent their own meaning for this game. And, you know, in a year that the country's had a lot of change, the world's had a lot of change, the rugby calendar's been very, very different. It's a bright light. We've got Super Rugby Aotearoa that's been outstanding, and hopefully will continue for another 5 or 6 weeks at that same level. And then to have this pretty special game at the end of it, I think is it's going to just it keeps the players motivated, it keeps them excited, and a chance to just keep celebrating about where New Zealand's at.